Hi everyone, this is Richard. It's been a long time. Last upload I just saw was in 2019, so it's been a while. A lot of things have changed. Just from the last video, I checked the comments after a few weeks, and after that, I just completely abandoned the channel. And quite honestly, I've never checked anything. I even forgot the password, quite honestly. I had to look in my password manager. But now that I look at it, the number of subscribers have actually gone up. If you left a comment over the past 5 years and I just didn't see it, I'm really sorry. I didn't see it. If it's something that was important or something, please feel free to post it again so that I will see it. I know a lot of these comments are probably just something that you weren't hopefully expecting an answer to, but I do appreciate leaving the comment itself. You know, a lot of things have happened with me and I moved on. I kind of looked into C# and I got kind of far with that and really enjoyed it, but never got too serious. Coding for me has always been like a hobby. It's not a means to an end. It was the learning was the means to itself. And I think that's the point of this channel. This is my learning process. Learn along with me and maybe we can learn something together. And I just recently got into vibe coding. And this is what we'll go through now that I reopened the channel, because this is something new for me, which is a little different, right? Because it's no longer the learning is the means to an end. It's you have an endpoint and you want to get to that endpoint. That's the difference. And so maybe there's a little bit of fun that's lost, but there still is a lot of fun to be had, I guess. So there's just my introduction of the channel as it is. It's amazing how much the world has changed. When we talk about AI coding, that didn't even exist back in 2019. And just even looking back, Dart has expanded. It's gone to version 3. It was at version 2 by the time I left it. Flutter has expanded. It's been incredible. And so what I want to do is use the Flutter framework with Dart. And unfortunately, a lot of Dart has changed so much that I really don't know a lot of these new features. So if you've seen my last video on Dart, that's all I know, okay? I haven't learned anything else. And as you could probably tell, all of my equipment that I'm using to record this hasn't really changed. If anything, it's gotten worse because it's been sitting around collecting dust. I don't even know if this thing works anymore. Hopefully it does. But it's pretty much about the same. And it's kind of one of those you get what you pay for things, all right? So I think that's always been the theme of the channel as well. So let's get right into it. So what is vibe coding? So vibe coding is just a term that was coined Andrej Karpathy, who basically said that software 2.0, we will no longer be coding the software into making a product, but the software will be coded by something else. And we will rather direct the software to make the end product. And that's what vibe coding is. And with vibe coding, I've only been doing it for a couple of months now. It's been unbelievably successful and it's really a lot of fun. So I wanted to show you what I've learned. Maybe you guys know a lot more than I do. Almost everybody who's coming here knows more programming than I do. At the same time, if you are new to programming itself, in order to do this, you do need to have some knowledge of coding. Maybe not that much, but it would really, really help. Even just going through my past videos or something like that, even though they're old, they do still apply a little bit here. Because you do need to know something, and we'll go over that. The tools that we can use for this, there's numerous. Okay, there's several ways of doing this in my mind. You can get like ChatGPT or Copilot or Grok or something like that, and you can ask it to write a line of code, and it'll write a line of code, and you can copy and paste it. So you can do something like that. The problem with it is it only takes one file at a time, right? You want to get the entire program to be written to make it easier. You don't want to put a file here, then put a file there, because they don't always communicate properly. And I've never found that to be very successful. So in order to make it, to put it all together, you want the AI to look at the entire program, not just file by file by file. It's to use an IDE with it integrated. The ones I've tested are Windsurf and Cursor. I looked at Replit. I don't even know what that is. I tried to get it to work and I couldn't figure out more than 10 seconds, so I moved on. Cursor, That was several months ago, so it might have changed, but it crashed a lot. And in the middle of doing something, I'd walk away, I'd come back, and it'd be all crashing. And I'd be like, okay, that's not good. Windsurf seems to be a lot more stable. And plus, it's cheaper. It's like $15 a month. You will have to pay for that in order to get vibe coding done, all right? The, what's that called? Cursor, I think there is a free version of it if you use certain AI models. But that's not my preference. But the same concepts will apply if you choose to use it. I don't have any monetary involvement with Windsurf. Not only that, I introduced this to my brother, and he used my referral code, and I didn't get squat. It's like, what the heck? So, total ripoff, all right? But the product does work, all right? Let's just take a look at this. As you might tell, this is actually Visual Studio Code. It's just with stuff built into it, which is their AI. And let's just go over a few things. So I think we're familiar with all these things. I installed Flutter on here. So if you need to, go to .dev and install it from there. I remember, I'm going to reminisce a little bit, back in the early days of Flutter, installing it was a pain in the butt. I remember doing a video about this and saying, this setup that's documented on their website just doesn't work. And it was really annoying. That is all solved. Now it is piece of cake installation. So great job. Again, world has really changed. Go there, install it. And when you install Windsurf, you'll run Windsurf instead of Visual Studio Code. So where it says open Visual Studio Code, open Windsurf instead. All right. I'm not going to go into the installation. If you need me to, please let me know. Then all I'm going to do is go into View, Command Palette, and I'm going to pick something. Flutter, new project, we'll go with that. And I'm going to go for empty application. And so let's make an application. And what I'm going to make is like a Flappy Bird clone. I'm going to call it, Flying Bird. Oh, path does not exist. Actually, wait a minute. This I just want to create in the Flutter apps. There we go. Here is where I go. Okay. What did I just say? Flying Bird? Flying Bird game. All right. As I mentioned before, I was using .NET and C# a lot. What I really like about Flutter and Dart specifically is they're very strict with the type of typing, the style of typing. So when they say, when I started it with a capital F, Flutter project name should be all lowercase with underscores to separate words. So it's like, that's their style. And I like that, where it's, this is how it should be. If you don't like it, tough luck, do it anyway. And so it makes it a lot more standardized. Flying, actually, I'm going to do underscore bird. It's the call, no. I'm going to delete that one. So that page right there. So Flutter create, it's going to create this template and it's going to create it. And so I'm not going to go over the Visual Studio aspect of it, okay? The Visual Studio Code. I'm just going to do the Windsurf part, okay? So Windsurf, there's two big things. Cascade button right here. So we have the program here. We have the code right here. So if you click on it somewhere, the code's going to be right here. I like to keep open the terminal down below. And on this side, it's going to be something agent. It's going to be code or ask. I don't know all the features here, but these are the features I do know. Maybe we'll learn them along the way. If you have any ideas, please let me know. I'm going to say code or ask. Ask is only asking a question, but don't touch the code. For example, I said create a comprehensive testing and logging framework on an application. It would, if I did it under ask, it would create it right here, but it would not create code for it. If I chose under ask, if I choose code, I'm giving the AI permission to actually write and change the code here. So the way I use it is, ask is if I am not certain about something, but in case the AI misunderstands me, it won't automatically write the code for it because I don't want it to do that. There are other blocks, way to block it, but that's one way that that's my protection of preventing it from just going into things and just typing things randomly. Code is you want it to type, and what it will do is it will write code, and then in the end, it'll say keep or accept the code. And so you could always just like, or keep or decline the code or something like that. You can always like discard the code, and so it doesn't change. So that's another catch where you don't need to allow the computer to write the program. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, when it does type all of those things out, there will be times where it will stop and it will say, let me see here. I can't see where it is, but it's going to give you choices. It's going to be like block, allow list, something, and then turbo at the bottom. And what that refers to is if you click turbo, which I do on everything, it will give free reign of the computer to the AI. That might be good or bad, right? What could possibly happen, right? If you don't want the computer to do that, you can micromanage it. So it'll do something, it'll write a command. It'll say flutter run. It'll try to test your program and try to run it. You can block it and say, no, you're not allowed to do that. Or you can say, yes, you're allowed to do it. I let the AI do whatever it wants to do. All right. So I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm not saying that's what anybody else should. I'm not even saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying that's what I do. All right. And if it starts becoming sentient and, well, you know what happened. All right. Then there's the different AI models. This is being done at the end of 2025. So this is my opinion only. If anybody else has any experience, has a better idea, please let me know. I really use two models. I did use GPT 5.1 because it was free. Now that it's not free, I'm not using it anymore. I use Grok Code Fast 1 and Claude Opus Thinking. When it says 3 times, it uses 3 times the credit. Because remember I said it costs like $15 a month? And Claude Opus burns through your credits 3 times faster than than most of the language models here. Grok Code Fast 1 is free at this point in time. So I use it for simple, low-level things. I don't know, maybe add a file here, remove this here, something that's straightforward. For Claude Opus Thinking, I do it for its thinking. It looks at the entire application and it can make some judgment and it'll actually think. So the way I see it is you can tell the AI, make a button on here and say hello, right? The Grok Code Fast will make that button there. Claude Opus might think and say, what is the purpose of that button? Why is he putting it right inside of here? He's probably put inside of here because he wants you to click on it eventually. So instead of putting it out in the corner, you probably want it in the front. And so it may make some assumptions and you can always fix it. But the assumptions seem to be very good. It really does seem to be good. So I like Claude Opus almost all the time. Cleanup because it writes the code correct almost every single time. For cleanup, I shouldn't say I use Grok Code Fast, but if it's something simple, straightforward, I'll probably be using it in this video just here and there, but it will be limited. It is free, but unfortunately, you do get what you pay for. All right, that's, again, my opinion. This is subject to change. This field is changing so much. By the time this, next couple of weeks come out, that might be completely different. All right, so that's what we'll do right now. By the way, why am I making a Flappy Birds clone? If you're new to the channel, years ago, I made a Flappy Bird clone in Dart. I can't remember when that was. It's somewhere in the records. And when I made it, it was basically pretty straightforward. It took a long time. I don't remember how many videos it took, but it took a long time. This time around, let's see how long it takes to just have the computer do it for us. It'll probably do a much better job. Okay? So let's end it here, and let's keep going forward on making our Flappy Bird clone. Thanks.